As an inspirational and exciting kickoff to the beginning of a new school year, Imperial County Office of Education invited Ken Kay, Chief Executive Officer of EdLeader21, to speak to the Imperial Valley community about preparing their students for the 21st century workforce. In the first part of the day, Kay spoke to school administrators at a Welcome Back conference hosted by the Association of California School Administrators at the Frank Wright Middle School about skills the students of this generation must learn in order to be successful in the changing global economy. He then spoke to business leaders, school board members, and other community members at the Old Eucalyptus Schoolhouse during a luncheon sponsored by the Imperial Irrigation District.
Fabulous meetings today in El Centro. The meetings with the business community was basically, and school board members, was basically to get them to think about what kind of model of education the local school districts in this area should have, and whether they really have a 21st century education model.
Collaboration is one of the key ideals that this presentation by Ken Kay stressed on. It was being collaborative, also being creative, being critical thinkers, and being communicators. And so we want to take these concepts back to our school sites, back to our teachers, model these types of behaviors, and allow our students to become 21st century learners.
But we learned about the future of education, and with the Common Core coming our way, I think we can't sit back. We have to be innovative and teach our kids what skills they're going to have to know to be successful in the 21st century.
This is how students will survive. This is how students will create, be able to contribute to communities in this next century.
One of the greatest pieces is the collaboration piece, and that we learn to go into our classrooms and into our districts and into our offices and not be just islands of excellence or islands. We're all hard workers.
The whole topic was, are our students ready for 21st century learning? We have a lot of work ahead of us in order to meet that challenge. It's a big challenge, and we're ready to face it.
I hope that everyone heard today that we don't have any time to waste in making sure that our children are prepared to be part of our society and our whole world. And for that reason, we have a real obligation to make sure we're incorporating the skills that kids will need.
So we were talking about migrating from a model that focuses on the 3 R's, which we all know, and migrating to a model that includes critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity. And we were also talking about the importance of other skills like global competence and financial literacy.
I think the most important thing for future workers is going to be people skills. It's going to be a notion that they have to be on time, they have to be responsible, they have to do problem solving. In other words, what would you do if?
Okay, one of the things that kind of drives me crazy about educators is we're always looking for the shiny new thing. But what he said really resonates in terms of creating critical thinking. As you know, a lot of school districts will be implementing Common Core standards, and that's a way of not only assessing what kids know, but how they get to what they know. So one of the things we're trying to do in our district, I know other districts are trying to do it as well, is help people to be critical thinkers and lifelong learners. And that seems to me to be one of the big focuses of his message.
Everything that we heard from Mr. K today is involved in every business that we do here in the Imperial Valley, in the United States and in the world. We do a lot of critical thinking in developing our businesses and operating our businesses. We definitely have oral communication that's required. Collaboration is key.
What I enjoyed the most is it kind of gives you a framework for getting to where we want to go. We talk a lot about where we want to be in our education system, but this gives us a real framework, why it's important, what we need to do and how we need to do it and how we need to teach it.
Be a great communicator and also a creative thinker. I think those in conjunction with having good work ethic would certainly make a student successful in the game of life.
Well, you know, my involvement is as a parent, and then also the IED board was one of the sponsors of the event, so I think it's important that we bring new ideas to the community. For future workers, the IED has a strong workforce in the Valley, being the largest employer in the Imperial Valley, and we're looking for ways to create better workers in the future. Also, I think for my own kids and for others in the Imperial Valley, it's important to focus on what kids in the future are going to need, and it just brings new ideas to the table.
In terms of our education, we have to look at it in how it fits in the context of the world of work. So for college students, it's taking not only the subject matter but the core standards that get us to that subject matter, and also then looking and applying those to the skills needed to really perform well in the business today.
I was very impressed with the idea of teaching the core curriculum, the things that the schools need to teach, but trying to put it in the context of practical applications. And I think that's something that the business community can really help with, and at the same time benefit from, because students will come out more prepared for the work world.
I am hoping that out of this message, we all go back and start to really do some introspection at whatever our role is on how we pull together to make sure that we're doing the very best by the students of this community to serve them well and to prepare them for the demands of the 21st century workforce.
I think it's very important that the larger community, school board members and business leaders really embrace a vision of 21st century education that's really going to prepare kids for their future, not our past. And I think that educators need to be told or need to be directed that that's the kind of education that the community wants. And if they hear that, then educators will have to start being creative about how they go about not only retooling the system, but really recalibrating the system so that it's really meeting the needs of their 21st century students.